If you want to become a first generation cash flow millionaire, avoid laziness. Proverbs says avoid laziness. So let's define what laziness means. 4 different areas here of definition of laziness. So let's look at Proverbs 21 verse 2. All a man's ways seem right to him, but the Lord weighs the heart. You know, Ray Dalio, who wrote the book Principles, he says, listen, I walk into a room thinking that I'm wrong. Because I want to know from the people that have been there, done that. I want people that have thoughts and solutions and ideas and experience. I want to learn from them too as well. He says, I also want to walk into a room thinking that I'm wrong and I prove myself right. Because he's not walking in there self-centered. Whatever you're doing, I hope that you have a process or demeanor about you, according to Scripture, that says, according to Proverbs, it says, listen, don't be so self-centered. I know that you have a self-interest. I know you have an agenda, but are you there to help others first? Which leads me number 2. Are you operating with arrogance? Let's talk about what arrogance means here in chapter 26, verse 16. It says, the sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who answer discreetly. So in other words, this guy's arrogance. Like, dude, I'm working, man. I'm working. Dude, I'm working. I'm busting my tail. But other people are like, yo, he thinks he's working. He thinks he's actually putting in the effort. Based on his numbers, based on the leaders bulletin, I don't think he's working at all. I mean, did you see his numbers? Did you see his performance? Did you see the amount of revenues brought in based on the effort he's putting in? He thinks he's working, but he's working hard at the wrong things. But they're discreetly saying that about them. But the guy who is arrogant saying, listen, I got this, man. I got this. Hey, that's arrogance kicking in. That's arrogance. And what is arrogance? Arrogance is another embodiment of laziness, which leads us into number 3, number 4 combined together. Ignorance and irresponsibility. You don't want this I and I working against you. Ignorance and irresponsibility. Let's take a look at this. Proverbs 24, verses 30 to 31. It says, I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of the man who lacks judgment. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. So in other words, somebody had property, somebody had land, somebody had things growing. They didn't take care of it. They acted with ignorance and responsibility. You know, oftentimes I shared a story when I was coming up in business. I said, you know what, man, if I ever have a Mercedes-Benz one day, if I ever have a BMW one day, if I ever have a luxury car one day, if I ever have a car one day, I'm going to take care of it, man. I'm going to take care of it. Next thing you know, I owned one. I got one, and that thing was getting dirty all the time. And I told myself, you know, I'm saying I'm going to take care of this, but shoot, it's raining all the time. But guess what I told myself? I cannot operate in ignorance and responsibility. I said I was going to do something. I need to make sure I follow through with my word. And so if you are blessed with something, you're blessed with a business, you're blessed with real estate, you're blessed with a family, you're blessed with people that work with you and for you, do not operate with ignorance and responsibility. Otherwise, thorns come in, you're going to be scratched, you're going to be in pain, you're going to be hurt, and you're going to wonder why things aren't working right. Why? Because it's another embodiment of laziness. I know it's pretty tough to hear that, but hey, I'm not saying this. This is what Scripture is saying from the richest man and the richest king who ever lived.